evening and welcome to the Weekly Savage. Today is a very important episode, so I decided to wear my glasses because I need you to take me seriously. It came to our attention that the St. Vincent Prime Minister, Ralph Gonsalves, made this statement to join the trend of political leaders who said something equally ridiculous.
And if you don't have the virus, there's no need for you to put on a mask. Because putting on the mask when you don't have to put it on can do you even harm.
The good news is none of these leaders caught COVID-19 because there is obviously no such thing as karma. Staying in the Southern Caribbean, the Barbados Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, recently reported that she has received the COVID-19 vaccine. Some have reported that due to her excellent general health, it is indeed the first prick she has received in years. There's been some speculation, mostly by Facebook doctors, that Ms. Mottley didn't actually take the vaccine, but faked it in an attempt to convince the population to be injected with mind-controlling microchips. We here at the Weekly Savage can assure you that this is completely false and no one wants to control your mind. Now, please, return our families, Mr. Gates. We did what you said. Locally, our COVID-19 quarantine tracking bracelets passed its first test as authorities identified 2 individuals who left their designated quarantine area. It's been said that the 2 thought their movements would not be detected because they believed the bracelets were powered by digital data. Men's Health magazine is reporting that COVID-19 may cause erectile dysfunction. Men over 50 in Antigua are now telling their young side chicks they have COVID-19. Y'all stop it. Just stop it. Okay? Check Pfizer. They also sell a little blue vaccine. All right? In light of this news, reports have also reached us that men of all ages are now lining up to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Our brave Prime Minister being the very first in line. The leader of the opposition in Parliament, Jamal Pringle, appeared on Observer AM last Friday and thoroughly tested Darren Matthew Ward's patient. The MP suggested the authorities use social media to prosecute social distancing violators. It's great to see that Mr. Pringle, who fought so hard to end the curfew and refused to participate in the economic recovery effort, finally offering some helpful advice. The government should place him in charge of protecting us from infection. He could teach us how to dodge COVID-19 like he dodges questions about Trevor Young. Internationally, Donald Trump once again makes history as the first American president to be impeached twice. Trump was also America's first special needs leader. Now this. Look at you making narcissistic psychopaths proud, Trump. Is he the first though? Someone needs to fact check that. Staying on brand, Donald Trump is refusing to pay his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, after he spent the last 2 months losing court cases and pushing conspiracy theories about widespread election fraud. Mr. Rudy Giuliani is seeking compensation of $20,000 and a quart of motor oil per day. You know, we joke about Rudy, but just remember, our average temperature here is around 84 degrees, and we have good people on both sides of the political sphere with equal hair dye addictions. And now, we do not have any pictures. I'm not a snitch. Except for last week with that Spanish bar thing. Now, Donnie, the Conqueror's Colored King, you really mean to say you're not gonna pay the man? He's the only lawyer that's willing to work for you. Or maybe you can get the guy that defended Cliff against Mary John. I hear he's a really good lawyer and he works for a really good law firm. In all fairness, however, Trump might be having trouble making payments right now, since a number of major companies and banks are refusing to do business with him. Just imagine, Trump's father and grandfather worked so hard to create generational wealth, and he took it and managed to create generational embarrassment. Witty dotishness. But who am I kidding? Them didn't have no shame. By the time we air, Joe Biden will be inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States, and Kamala Harris will be inaugurated as the first female, Black, and South Asian Vice President, as everyone refers to her, except Caribbean people. And as far as Jamaicans are concerned, she's Jamaican and Jamaican alone, and the rest of the region needs to hop off of their bandwagon, the way Golden State fans are now cheering for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, although I haven't heard Senator Harris speak much about her Caribbean heritage, you don't get more West Indian than Jamaican and Indian. And you don't get more Caribbean woman than the way she told Mike Pence, "I'm speaking. Mr. Vice President, I said I'm speaking." Yes, Kamala is Jamaican and Indian. That's jerk chicken and curry chicken. I mean chicken curry. Now, this is America's election, but it affects us all. Whether we like it or not, our boat floats in the American Ocean, and every time they ride past us, they create massive waves. We don't always like the person who they choose as their president, but we could at least respect the seat. Now that there is a person of Caribbean descent in the White House, we here in Antigua and Barbuda can rest assured that America still has no intention to pay what is owed to us from the World Trade Organization ruling. As a superpower, America tends to set guidelines for the rest of us, most often when no one asks them. They ensure free and fair elections around the world, impose sanctions on unjust governments, and apparently they are the beacon of freedom and justice. They also lead the way in the handling of major world pandemics, except right now. While we have been having peaceful elections and implementing protocols to keep our citizens safe while keeping our economies open, America is struggling to have a peaceful transfer of power and only now implementing certain protocols to fight COVID-19. CARICOM, there's a lot they can learn from us. So I don't want to see this crap anymore. We'll be right back. Last Friday, the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda delivered the 2021 throne speech. Now that's like an on-the-hand slow ball if you're playing cricket before the Curtly Ambrose pace of the budget speech that's coming next. Oh, and the debates that's going to follow, Lord have mercy. It's going to be like Chris Gayle playing 2020 cricket against two very weak bowlers. And I won't say who those bowlers are that are going to be getting boxed about Alan Stanford good up cricket ground. Dr. Gigi, as we affectionately call the Queen's representative, arrived in full regalia, but I've seen better, and inspected the guard like Bay inspecting meat. Wait, what? Oh, Salt Bay. Now it makes sense. The speech highlighted the work of the government during 2020, the year that escaped from hell. For instance, Gigi discussed the Economic Recovery Committee and that the government assembled the best and the brightest, which explains why some people refuse to take part. But that also begs the question why some people did take part. But anyway, we could go through the speech line by line, but it's 50 minutes and this is just an 8-minute segment. However, something did stand out to me. Let me start by saying the government did relatively well considering what we were facing. Many cried out for stimulus without thinking of the long-term consequences of the loans we required to make a 1 or 2-time payment. Instead, the government ensured salaries were paid on time, which safeguarded a large number of households in Antigua. Let's face it, if we are to be honest, some government jobs substitute for a welfare system. We don't need all our civil servants, but we need to distribute funds throughout our economy. The government has been able to keep its workers employed and paid. government is also engaged in a lot of construction. Homes are being built and a number of projects are underway. Some were initiated before the global crisis and some as a part of the recovery effort. Most of these initiatives are revenue generating and will eventually pay for themselves. Further stimulus was provided to the funeral home industry with the long-awaited completion of Friesel Road and the Sir George Walter Highway. My biggest takeaway, however, is that we all have our part to play. The UPP patriotically did their part by making a statement that made us all feel better about our 2018 votes. We also have to play our part because the little tourism we have is very dependent on COVID-19 cases remaining low, and that depends on us. We all have pandemic fatigue, I know, but you know who never gets tired? Miss Coronavirus. She's a bacchanalist. We must be more vigilant and remain so. Raise your hand if you've seen snaps or other images of people partying in the last 3 months. Why would you risk your economy, health, and life on camera? That's the plot for the movie Jackass. The virus was made in China, but people are acting as if it was made in China. And if it was made in China, 80% of it would have gone bad in like 2 weeks and thrown out, and the rest would actually make people sick. Wait, maybe it was made in China. Now, I'm not suggesting that China can't make anything of quality. At least I hope not, because they built our airport. Which brings me to the biggest problem. No, not that one. But they come from the same source. The coronavirus vaccine is our only source of hope at this present time, and many people will refuse to take it. Why? Because of the internet. That's why. Did you know that the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith was based in 2021 and the outbreak was a vaccine gone wrong? Actually, I don't know if that's true, but I saw it on TikTok and it's...
That's really.
I mean TikTok, and it's scary. Because this guy said something that made absolutely no medical sense, you now believe that Bill Gates is trying to kill us all. Why? I mean, as often as Windows tend to crash, the stress alone will kill us for sure. Now, describe to me how all this is a plot for mind control in a way that doesn't require me using my third eye. Because, you know, my third eye is usually busy. You can't? I didn't think you could. Conspiracy theories have taken over our little planet, and I am naively amazed on the number of people from a wide spectrum of backgrounds, not usually medical, who believe them. I'll be the first to admit that conspiracy theories are fun. And if you know me, you know I actually do believe some of them. The moon landing was fake, okay? The earth is flat, fine. Burt Reynolds is not actually dead. He came to Antigua and ran in rural north. That one might actually be true. But when you endanger lives and livelihoods, then all laughing done. Do you remember 5G? The 5G conspiracy caused people to set fire to cell towers because the 5G was supposedly making us all sick. After we found out many of those areas didn't even have 5G, and there was no actual evidence whatsoever, and many claims were easily debunked. And what do we still have today? COVID-19 and slow internet. Jody Doring, a nurse from South Dakota, love saying that, had a post go viral where she said some of her coronavirus patients often don't want to believe that it is real. Even in their dying moments, some even refuse to say goodbye to their family members because COVID is fake and they aren't really dying. No matter the proof, people who believe in conspiracies will never admit that they are wrong. I mean, smiling at the launch of UE5 Island and still never admitting you're wrong. That level. Hell, working at UE5 Island and not admitting you were wrong. Them kind of someday. Anyway, The anti-vaxxer movement started in the 70s when some mothers of autistic children observed that their child developed autism after they were vaccinated around the age of 2. Therefore, they concluded that the cause of the condition was the vaccination. Wait, this is actually one that I might believe. Who put this in there? Anyway, let me continue. Studies were done, and it was established that the autism developed whether or not you have been vaccinated. It just so happens that it occurs around the age of 2. What a coincidence. Okay, Mr. Gates. This did not change the minds of those parents, and some even think that they are trying to change your DNA. But if they could change your DNA, do you think Bill Gates will still look like this? And if that's the case, let me get 2 shots of that Michael Jordan, please. Despite this, I recognized a long time ago that this vaccine was inevitable and we eventually would have no choice, especially those of us who love to travel. Don't worry about being tracked. They're already doing it. Mostly with your favorite social media app. Just ask Edward Snowden, the bravest snitch in the world. When you believe these baseless posts on the internet, you're endangering yourself and our country. I suggest doing some research before you run with it. After all, the same people that said COVID wasn't real said the same thing about global warming. And we in the Caribbean know better. Plus, Gaston abused them about that one day. And that was a proud moment for all of us. It is a genuine concern that we could have spikes similar to Barbados and St. Vincent, and that would be a serious blow to our economy and, more importantly, our lives. Hopefully, vaccines will be available in the upcoming months. If we could get as much people as possible vaccinated, it could mean a sense of normalcy. Imagine having carnival again and full churches, when carnival is not in session. I know those preachers must be hurting right now, missing out on, all those souls. Imagine open borders to every country, welcoming as much tourists as we can stuff in a hotel room. Every Airbnb would be booked, even the crappy ones. Conspiracies are big business in this social media age because clicks means dollars. The more you consume misinformation, the more likely you are to click on the next one. The more you hear a story, the more you will believe it, and the more willing you are to take action. We need not look any further than our neighbors to the north. Nobody just wants to pick up something, anything, or grab something, anything. But after hearing it a few times and Mr. Rum, you find yourself running with it. Now, once again, the lady vendor who was selling drinks from her cooler last carnival, I am very, very sorry. It was Mr. Rum. The believers of several different conspiracies stormed the Capitol building because they believe that the US election was stolen from a man who never polled over 50%, even in Fox News polls. 5 people died as the world watched on in an aphrodisiac of horror and glee. Do you still think it's okay to believe something that's detrimental without proof? These people that we consider insane tend to believe the same conspiracies some of us think are real. The craziest of these conspiracies is QAnon, whose followers believe that people like Hillary Clinton eat babies to retain their youth. Hillary, if you're eating babies, stop. It's not working. Plus, everyone knows that Monica Lewinsky was the baby eater in that White House. We need to do our part, and that is to stringently follow the COVID-19 guidelines. Trust the science. I know it can be confusing, and it should be. That's why medical school is so hard and so expensive. I don't know if that's true either. I saw that on TikTok as well. Think about it. You can have a face-to-face business meeting from the same device you use to show the world your Busset challenge.
Bust it,
And you're worried that a year is too short a time for a vaccine to be developed. Now ask yourself, why do you expect more advancement from your cell phone than you do from medicine? And you still don't trust Bill Gates. Trust the same science. Remember, the only conspiracy theory with any proof is Max Reynolds. The only thing constant is change. And as we move into the future, places that carry the secrets of so much of our history must and will change for the betterment of us all. Such is the case of Booby Alley, a place that the majority of Antiguans have never been, but whose stroke helped to sculpt the country we know today, from politics and trade unions to arts and sciences. The people raised by Booby count themselves among the leaders. This place has pushed us into the future, and is now their term. Booby Alley is just across the street from where we record this show, and part of our team is from there. So tonight, the Weekly Savage does its part to conserve just a little piece of the Booby Alley culture.
Asha, get to come full the bucket and then please. Asha, get to come full the bucket and then please.
I've been here. You know, I've seen it and I felt it. Real talk, man. Yeah.
Listen, come on. It's been over 10 years, knee deep in this rap shit. The stage lights will blind you, it's all backwards. You need dedication, discipline, practice, strong strategies, and sprinkling some theatrics. It's for the love, not for you to like me. That's why when you sleeping or creeping, I'm up nightly, scribbling my thoughts on paper. That shit excites me more than any mountain pussy. These chicks will spite me. But where were they when we were running on the streets, hustling CDs to eat? And no matter where we sleep, you don't feel what we feel. You can't wear what I wore. You claim to be real, but you ain't sleeping on the floors. Never locked out doors. You speaking for the poor, telling every getter you follow your dreams, cause it's yours. I'm a truth teller, Visine for your eyeballs. I'm still here giving thanks till the sky falls.
I'm fighting for a chance to make it. I've been in this game too long, and I played all my cards, and it's safe to say you will remember my name. Cause the people I know, the places I've been, say what you feel, signing this deal. I do it all for the love. As hard as it seems, chasing my dreams. Now you're gonna see what it takes to be me. I do it all for the love. See, you went to see what I see. No, 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 no. You ain't been where I've been.
Hey, yo, I'm an MC who dresses like a rapper sometimes. Forever mine, all for the love of the grind. While you putting rims on it, I put a spin on it, putting everything on it in my thug tatted shine. Money can buy you anything, even the fake me. Fake love, fake friends, but fakers will breed enemies. Benjamins, Franklins, look what happened to Kennedy. I need a Rothschild, Rockefeller type of remedy. When it comes to millions, they got trillions. Private assets to bless the queen and her children. They own the pie and the caked up Sicilian, bringing in the product plus the golden daffodil them. I mean everything where it seems like nothing is there. So we try to make this money out of nothing but air in my lungs and that dear anyone. Many come but the chosen are few, and we the ones in here.
I'm fighting for a chance to make it.
Yeah.
I've been in this game too long,
Listen,
and I
man,
played all my cards, and it's safe to say
Quite so.
you will remember my name. Cause the people I know, the places I've been, say what you feel, signing this deal. I do it all for the
a picture that's too ill. Some do it for the love of the money, if you still repeat the integrity, heavy Buffalo Bill. If you don't take yourself seriously, who will? It's like it's all the same, ain't nothing gonna change. With a pocket full of change, looking bummy on the train. Get your duffel bag on like 2 chains with 2 chains. 2 dames, kick Wu-Tang like Liu Kang. They say I spit deep like a dude got 2 brains. Third world soldier going without a few things to elevate to the status to go match Bruce Wayne and share the blueprint as I spit butane, propane, ethanol, ether reduced lanes. Yeah, say it's cocaine, Kurt Cobain slang. Rock diamonds on stage for the love of the fame, and when you get robbed, just charge it to the game.
See, you and see.